These billionaires are buying rockets. Right. Those aren't union billionaires, I'd point out. The fact that Elon also owns a rocket company is entirely detached from the reality that
Absolutely. Yeah.
that Ford is a union shop. There is no connection.
So we've seen the big headlines with the UAW. It's an interesting time as well because the legacy car manufacturers are already in really much big heat right now to transition to EVs, and now we have a news cycle like this with the UAW striking, and it has a huge impact on the companies as well. So how do you think GM and Ford could handle this situation? Because we've seen it. Tesla released the Model 3 Highland now. They upped their quality in that sense. I mean, it's China made, but also the Cybertruck is on the horizon. Is Tesla so crazy with their wages that they are so evil, like the UAW is painting Elon Musk and Tesla, or do you think it's overblown a little bit here? And so, how do you view the situation with the? Is it legitimized that they should go on strike and compare that to Tesla? That would be very interesting.
The strike is 100% justified. These workers have not had pay raises in quite some time. Their wages have fallen and they were not tied to inflation. So the last 2 years alone would be enough to discuss renegotiation, to justify it. The contract had expired, and so now they are without contract. So now is the best time. The comparisons to Tesla are pointless and dishonest. They're saying we pay so much more than Tesla. But yet Tesla workers earn more, and they earn significantly more. It's not even close. In order to get to those figures, they back out all of the stock-based compensation. And if you do that, Tesla's only paying them this much. They are being paid more than that, but stock compensation isn't cash. It's non-cash. It's an accounting thing. These shares that they are paid with are invented, they're printed. So it is actually the shareholders who are paying the workers. I am paying the workers through dilution. And when they get angry that Mary and Jim and the others are making far too much, I would agree with that. I don't think anybody would say that Mary Barra is worth $30 million. But also worth mentioning, if you were to cut her pay to zero and give that money to the workers, it'd be a penny an hour or less. So that's not, and she's also not paid in cash. She's paid in stock, which is the shareholders paying her. The shareholders should be the ones who are truly upset because they're getting their shares watered down every time she takes one of these big fat paychecks. And he's saying, and Sean Fain is saying, these billionaires are buying rockets. Right. Those aren't union billionaires, I'd point out. The fact that Elon also owns a rocket company is entirely detached from the reality that Ford is a union shop. There is no connection unless Jim Farley has a rocket that he hasn't disclosed. Maybe we should look into that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, interesting stuff. How do you think this will develop? Do you think, I mean, Tesla was always criticized also by the Biden administration for not joining the UAW as well. And also, if you compare it, Tesla produces their cars in America, actually. And the UAW contracts also are for Mexico as well, and they also include different areas. So many of the manufacturers produce in Mexico, actually, and not in the US, in the bigger factories. And so it's a little double standard. It's a little bit strange how the government treated Tesla in the beginning, in my opinion, here, judging it from the over the pond here. But
it is very strange. It is very strange. Tesla has the most American-made car, and they have the second most American-made car. And with the Cybertruck, it is likely they will have the third most American-made car as well. And then behind them is like Honda and Toyota or Acura. I think it's Honda and Toyota have also very much American-made cars. And all of those companies get strong criticism. I can understand buying parts. You buy parts from whoever you buy parts from. They may be in Canada, they may be in Mexico, they may be in China. But you've got somebody in your backyard doing the most American thing, giving good wages, giving career advancement. You've got janitors who are millionaires because of their stock grants. If you joined in 2018, you probably got $20,000 in shares, and that's now worth close to $500,000. So, and that's without considering all the stock grants that you get each year. That's without considering the employee stock purchase program, for which you get a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
To say it bluntly,
considerations.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know how the employee stock purchase program works? The idea is whatever the lowest figure was from last quarter, the lowest trading day, that's your price, and Tesla gives you 15% on top of that. So let's say you can only spare $1,000 at the end of Q1. You got your shares for what, 115? So
That's
that $1,000 got
crazy.
you 11 shares. It's now worth $3,000. Well, that's only $2,000 extra. My friend, that's a significant percentage of your income, and all you had to do was put up 1,000, and you can do that every quarter. There's a limit to how much you can do. I don't remember how much it is, but it's over 1,000.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And also Faza talked about this when I had him on the channel last year, I think it was. He talked about this when he worked at Tesla. He was working actually with a lot of millionaires. Many of his colleagues were actually already millionaires because of this, and still worked there because they really liked the job actually, and they weren't forced to be there. So it was totally free of them to stay at the company and work over hours and everything like this, because they were very passionate about their job. That's what he told me. But I think, I mean, the stock compensation is a thing that you could argue, maybe, let's say, yeah, okay, they get stocks, but yeah, this is not real pay in that sense. And if Tesla wouldn't have gotten such a trajectory, like a rocket start since 2020, what would have happened and everything. But that's not what happened. The stock is worth more. That's the reality. And so also by Tesla pushing forward so fast, I think it's a pretty good deal actually, and it's really comparable actually to.
Well, I will take it one step
converts.
further, because I saw this exact pushback on X today. A gentleman said, that's great for companies going up in value, but Ford and GM have been flat over the past few years, even 10 years. And I say, that's even better, because over the last 6 months, it's been volatile. It's always volatile in the short term, and that's the dips you get to buy. So even if it remained flat, if you got the lowest trading of the last quarter, you're going to end up 20, 30% ahead, plus the 15% the company kicked in.
Yeah.
So if it's trading at 100 today, and 10 years from now it's trading at 100, but you keep buying at 70, you did really, really, really good.
Yeah, almost like Elizabeth Warren. You can really trade like her. It's almost like you have a cheat sheet to really do this. Because of course, yeah, you can just buy the dips, the low ends in the quarter, and I mean that's. I wish we had those deals.
Could you imagine if you were permitted to purchase stocks from the lowest? That's
Insane.
time travel.
Yeah, actually.
And you get a 15% bonus on it.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And also, the wages in Germany are pretty much comparable to Mercedes, or even higher at some points. That's what I wanted to add here as well, because of course Germany is a little bit differently structured in that sense. The workers' council, or the labor union. I mean, not the workers' council, but the labor unions are. It's by a constitution that you can do that. So this is so ingrained in our DNA here, also that it's pretty common to have labor unions and also workers' councils, and so this is pretty common here. And Tesla also has to.
Yeah, I would add to that. I apologize for interrupting.
No, please do. You're the guest.
That in Shanghai, they pay above market wages because we're going to work you real hard. We're going to ask a lot from you, and we want the best of the best. We know it's a competitive market. I don't know about the wages in Berlin. I believe you on that. In one of the complaints that Sean Fain had was, oh, sure, they pay a lot for their assembly line workers in Fremont, but do you know what a house costs in Fremont? And the answer is a lot, but the workers don't live in Fremont. They live out of the city and commute in like people who work in factories almost always do, unless where you live and work is a factory town. So yeah, you could definitely argue that the wages they pay assembly workers are not fantastic for living in San Jose or, one of the posher areas of the Bay Area. But Oakland is not as outrageous, and they also have the opportunity to transfer. The workers in Texas, when Elon had said, "Hey, FYI, you don't need a high school degree to work at Tesla. If you want to come straight out of high school and work here, we'll pay you," and I don't remember, I want to say $25 an hour. And I did the math at the time, and someone said, "Oh, that's slave labor. You can't live on 25." I said, "You're 18. You don't have kids. If you have a wife, she can work there too. You can both get jobs. Now you're making a combined $50 an hour. That's $100,000 a year out of high school as a couple." Austin is not outrageously expensive. Like everywhere, it has rich neighborhoods, but there are also a lot of places where you can buy, especially in the areas surrounding the factory, which is outside of town a bit. So it is, and then but you're 18 and you're doing the stock purchase and you're getting stock grants.
That's
Holy
crazy.
smokes. And you can move up all day. Your whole career can be upward.